28 teams. They had 48 hours to come up with game concepts. The winning team gets $10,000. You're going to see the top 3 today.
Some people might find it surprising that so many gamers are 50 or above, but I think it's for multiple reasons. First off, those people who started off playing games as kids have obviously grown up and have started to hit that age. But also the definition of what a gamer is and what a game is has changed. So now you have Facebook games, you have mobile games, and I think just about everybody plays those.
Games also have a social component. They encourage you to interact with other people, and they give you a topic, an interesting topic to interact with.
We realized anecdotally, at least, that more and more people over the age of 50 were playing video games. When we spoke to the AARP, they informed us that they get over 1 million unique visitors to the video game portion of the AARP website every single month.
We're playful beings from the time we are young to the time we are old, and games need to be able to address us throughout our lives. You know, we want to be lifelong learners, and in order to do that, we really want to be lifelong players.
You've got a consumer base of game players that are increasing in age and are ripe for new types of content and experiences that can be developed for them as a specific audience.
We sort of hatched a plan to do a game jam directed at a vexing issue for AARP, which is social isolation.
The challenge was to come up with a game idea that fosters new, positive, and sustainable social connection amongst people that are age 50 and older. And it would be worked on over the course of one weekend.
All of us have grandparents and parents who really kind of struggle kind of taking the time or having the resources to be social.
People 50 plus, they want to socialize just as much as you do.
I used to be non-social too, and the biggest way I got social was through games.
We are building a spy game, and I'm creating the actual environment that the character would run around in.
My dad and I, we both love playing video games, but we struggle to find games that we have in common.
I wanted to create a game that would present opportunities for families to interact with one another.
My grandma has a smartphone now, and even if I'm like really busy, I can have my phone up and still be playing a game with her. So she won't feel like she's just at home all day by herself watching Netflix.
It's day 3. We're pretty tired. Our concept is really cool though, and we're all really excited about it.
Are we all done?
We're done!
Hey guys!
It was really exciting to see so many entries come back in. We had 28 entries.
And it was very difficult to narrow that down to the final 3 who would then be flown out to E3 to present with the video game and celebrity judges.
In order to fix Grandma's problem of having a lack of social connections, she can play our game Neighbors. Players travel on our world map in order to meet new people and play mini games with them in an entertaining virtual world.
How do you see the mini games? Are they single player, multiplayer? Are they cooperative? Are they competitive?
I think there's an aspect of support that can be really strong in your game.
Thank you. That's an amazing idea. Thank you.
We are the team behind FURROW. Upon finding themselves in the game world, players will notice that they leave behind a trail as they walk. Each player's path has a unique look, depending on the sorts of materials they've discovered by visiting monuments. These massive structures serve as the game's focal point.
What is the motivation for players to continue playing together?
Have you thought about ways of continuing the conversations beyond game elements?
That's certainly an aspect that we could easily incorporate into the game. I think that's a really good idea.
And I'm here to present to you Letters of Mystery, a mix between play-by-mail and the intellectual challenge of escape the room games. Players interact through email with the other players in their party. In this potential scenario, 2 people had to collaborate to get past this puzzle.
Is there any Sherlock Holmesian aspect to it?
How will you account for time differences?
What happens when you get stuck? Because I think that's the one thing about puzzle games, right? It's like at some point everyone's like, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Sounds like a lot of it's going to be based on how good they can make it look. The puzzles almost seem like a secondary aspect to just being able to walk around the world.
The execution would be costly, and in some cases could be technically challenging.
Yeah.
There were some good ideas. I like the idea of the decade. Maybe not quite as focused, I guess, in my mind.
Yeah, that was my note right here, just focus.
What you share in common with your family
is lineage. So it was the potential of neighbors that I enjoyed.
I was curious about the lack of the physical environment and if that would have any implications for sustained engagement.
To me, the idea of using email as your platform is super clever.
So it sounds like we have a winner.
As our winner of the first ever Social Connection GameJam, Team Trainwreck from USA.
I had never thought about games as a way for an older generation to connect.
In the master's program, they're always encouraging us to look for different ways games can influence people, and this was a nice experiment.
This is something I would really like to play.
I really want to see this game live. I want to see it with the AARP community. I want to see people of different ages using it and see what that's like. I could imagine these games being out there and being successful, each of them.
I think they really did a good job describing their ideas, and there were some really very creative things in there.
There's a generation of gamers like myself that grew up with games, and they're looking for these new experiences.
They're not just games, they're a way to sort of interact with your friends in something that's a little more meaningful than a text message.
There's a role, obviously, for games to play, just as a form of escapism, but there's also an opportunity to use that medium in which to reach people in ways to enrich their lives.